Here we go, episode 161 of The Hardline, the episode before the Super Bowl and the last one of the NFL season. Michael Merlot, John Michael Masiri, here with you, JM, only a few days away from the big game that has everything, it's everything but football, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Super Bowl is. It's everything but football. A diehard football fan, their season's been over for 2 weeks now, but still, we'll hopefully enjoy a good game. JM, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm still recovering from that crazy Pro Bowl weekend. What a weekend! Wow, I got to see grown men play flag football and try to catch balls with mascot hands.
Did you turn it on?
I did. I said
way.
To myself, no, hear me out. I said to myself, I said, JM, it is Saturday. There is nothing going on, or Sunday, whatever it was. Turn the TV on and put the Pro Bowl games on.
I have a better
I
idea.
lasted, I think, 1 minute and 50 seconds. Pause.
I have a better idea for you. Your baseball team, okay? I can't say your football team. Your baseball team has played in many classic games. Go on YouTube and rewatch one of them.
Right.
So much more enjoyable.
Okay.
And I'd have more respect for you.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I lost respect for you just now. Even for a minute, you turned it on.
I don't think I deserve that.
I think I lost a little respect.
Okay.
But either way, we're very excited for this episode. Super Bowl preview plus a debate that's been,
It's been brewing. We're going to bring a debate that's coming from the lunch tables of middle school, okay?
Yes.
And it's coming out on the podcast, the final one, right? Because, Eli Manning, we're dancing around it. We're going to talk about that later.
We're going to find out if Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer Thursday, so this episode will be out, so we'll know, I guess, by the day's end. I don't know exactly when we'll know on Thursday, but at some point on Thursday, we will know. So before we get started, just want to make sure you are liked and subscribed on YouTube. You're liking and rating us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We appreciate it, and of course, following us on our social media for clips and posts throughout the week. All right, JM, we will start the Super Bowl. I can't picture this in any other way. This is going to be a close game, right? I think we would both agree that this is going to be a very, very close game. I don't see it any other way.
Yeah. I can see it going exactly the same way. This is a battle of two teams that have met before. Talked about that. They both have great seasons. Honestly, we haven't had a real snoozer Super Bowl in a little bit. The games have been pretty close. The worst one I can think of in recent history was the Buccaneers and the Chiefs, which ended up being a blowout. Meanwhile, it was one of the most highly touted Super Bowl matchups. It was number one on our list, so we said going into it, the hype, that was right up there. But I think it's going to be a close game. I actually have a problem with a take that I saw you made.
Oh, God.
And I didn't say this to you before. I heard you say that since the Chiefs have won, 17 straight one-score games?
17 straight one-score games,
that
a
if
record.
The Eagles, if they want to win this game, they need to win it by 10 points.
Yeah.
The Eagles, if they want to win the game, they got to just win the game. It could be by 1 point. It could be by 10 points, whatever. I get the point you're trying to make, that you don't want to get them into a one-score game because the Chiefs pull away in one-score games. But if they got to break it at some point, so one of the Eagles just break it.
It's not that they have to. It's not that they're going to pull away. It's that they're so good late in these games that if they're up, if the Eagles are up 3, or the Eagles are up 7, or the Eagles are up 8, whatever it is, one score, and the Chiefs have the football late in the game, the Chiefs are going to score. The Chiefs are going to do whatever they have to do to tie the game, take the lead, whatever it is.
That's just going to happen. Cushion then.
You need a 10-point cushion. That's what I said.
Backdoor one score for the Chiefs.
Right, that's fine.
By 3.
In the fourth quarter, you have to be up by 10 with 5 minutes to go. If you're not up by 10, I'm at the point with this Chiefs team, you're going to lose the football game.
Because what was it last year? The Chiefs were down by 10 at half, correct?
I forgot. Oh,
I'm pretty sure they were down by 10
the
points.
The 49er game.
Yes.
I still don't remember. I thought you were talking about the Eagle game. I don't remember either.
Well, the Eagle game, I don't remember that. That was pretty back and forth, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Eagles had a lead for most of the first half, I believe, and then it was the second half. It was very back and forth until the very end, obviously.
Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl. The score at halftime was 10-3 49ers.
They were down 7.
And the 49ers actually ended up outscoring them in the fourth to tie it, and then we know what happened.
Yeah, they didn't know the overtime rules. Yeah. Kyle Shanahan, good job, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. So you see where I'm coming from though with the take.
I do.
You kind of understand it.
Sure.
I think the Eagles, it's really strange. Like, they are the better team, right? If we're just going to look at, like, if we're going to go position by position.
Yeah, roster, sure.
22 starters. I would put a lot of money on that. If we went through it, there would be more Eagles than Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
And yet the Chiefs are better at the two most important positions. And then I can throw Spags in there as well. Like, they have that advantage. They have the coaching advantage. They have the quarterback advantage. And I don't think it's particularly close. I saw this Eagles page put out, like, where the positions rank. And they had the coaches, like, almost dead even. Like, no, that's not in the same stratosphere.
Is nuts. That is actually insane.
Like, Reid was just ahead of Sirianni. I'm like, nope, not that small
Andy
of a gap.
Reid is in a class of his own.
We're going to talk about where Andy Reid ranks in terms of all-time coaches in a little bit.
Well, he'll be high up there.
It's fascinating, but I do think those advantages enough for the Chiefs here are the reason why, and I guess I'll spoil my pick. I mean, we're not really going to pick it. I mean, You're just going to know how we believe. I think the Chiefs are going to win the game. That's the reasoning.
Yeah,
it's the coach.
I agreed. I think the Chiefs are going to win the game also. At this point, how could you bet against them? I was at the same exact point last year than I am this year. Going to the Super Bowl, it's like, how could you pick against this team at this point? They get back every single year, and they just find a way to win football games. And the same narratives follow them with the quarterback, with the referees and the luck and the this and that, and they always just find a way to pull it out. Mike, the Eagles, they are loaded all over the place. You're definitely right about that. If you were to compare rosters, there'd be more check marks next to Eagles players than next to Chiefs players. But the difference is, like you said, coaching and quarterback, and also – we're not talking about on the defensive side of the ball. Like, that Eagles team is really freaking good. Chris Jones is the best defender on that field.
Mm-hmm.
Out of any team, Chris Jones, there are not a lot of good players in the NFL that are better players than Chris Jones. So they got that down pat. They got the secondary that's strong. And they just got guys, Nick Bolton, George Karlaftis. Just guys
McDuffie might be the second best defensive player on the field.
Yep. He's a baller, McDuffie, 100%. And they haven't really felt the loss of Snead. That was a big thing this offseason. Oh, Chiefs lost L'Jarius Sneed, number one corner.
How about McDuffie? He's every year he's been in the league. He's been in the Super Bowl.
That's pretty nice.
Did you see the reporter yesterday at the media day opening night? Asked Quinyon Mitchell, what's the difference between the feeling of going to the Super Bowl this year and in 2022?
Good question.
Quinyon Mitchell's a rookie. This is his first time.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a really good. Did you see some of these questions? Hold on. Before we go to the questions, let me say this. You brought something up about the refs. I think, like, everybody that hates the Chiefs right now and continuing to bring up the refs as an excuse for the reason why they're winning, it's actually hurting you.
It is.
Because they are now using this as motivation.
Yeah.
Like, they're the enemy, right? And they're the villain, and they have that. And then they also have how everybody thinks we're winning because of the referees.
Right.
You know, Jamin, in all sports, you get breaks, right? You know, you just, like, the umpire's going to miss a call, the referee's going to miss this call. It's what do you do when you get those breaks, right? And the Chiefs, listen, they might get a couple of calls here and there, like every team does.
Right.
But it feels like every time they get the big call, they take advantage of the break that they got every single time, and not every team is capable of doing that.
Nope. And I sort of want to keep a tally on Sunday, because nobody really seems to be doing that where, okay, this is how many calls went in their direction. This is what was considered maybe a sketchier call for the Chiefs, for the team they're playing. I would love to see at the end of the game how that stacks up and see because if the Chiefs win on Sunday, that's going to be a huge story. There's going to be some call that everybody freaks out about, just like it happens every single year. Like it happened 2 years ago with that holding
Did it happen last season?
I
don't remember there being a huge call in that game.
I remember in the regular season, for example, obviously this is a little biased, but when the Jets played them at MetLife.
No, I was just talking about
with the holding calls and everything like that.
I was just talking about the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, I'm not sure.
I don't remember anything big.
I don't remember anything big in the Super Bowl.
Like the Bradbury one.
Right, like Bradbury in 2022. But
which was a hold.
I honestly just think at this point, if you're still doing the whole Chiefs and refs thing, yeah, it is frustrating. Yes, they probably do sometimes get calls that shouldn't be the right call, that are the incorrect call. I think if you're still making that take, though, that like that's the driving force of why the Chiefs are winning Super Bowls, it's a shallow take.
I mean, you got to hear. Did you hear Kelsey? Like, he was pissed about it. He asked them during opening night of the media day. He was they asked him, do you have any questions for the media? And then, like, in a really weird voice, like, not his voice, he was like, why y'all running with the referee thing, man? Like, why are you guys feeding into that? You're not helping it. You know, like, what's the deal?
Right.
And then that was it. He got up. I mean, it's pissing some of them off.
Yeah, of course.
Mahomes answered a question like that, like, the way he is, like, just clueless, you know?
But if they're going to do that, I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes flopping on the sideline when he gets hit. Like, you know, when he's running towards the sideline, I don't want to see him flopping then.
Right.
If you're going to say that it's, you know, the refs, this and that with the refs, they're not helping us, it's a BS take, then don't try.
I don't think they're going to get any calls.
Yeah.
On, like, Goodell probably. The fact that the Goodell and the referees, like, their committee, whatever it is, have to answer questions about this, I bet you 50-50 calls that would probably go their way in the regular season might not go their way.
It might hurt. The Chiefs might be hurt by the refs.
This might be hurting them because Goodell does not want to be answering these questions on Super Bowl week. Yeah. And it's a bit. I mean,
we'll get called whatever Kool-Aid drinkers.
We got killed for that.
Of course, because
we got killed for that
in sports, in life in general, that's a little against the grain and not what the general public is saying. You're like a freaking, you know, oh my God, you're a fairy, you're this and that.
I'm shocked you're on my side.
Because I realized I was like, all right. I consider myself a smart person, and I consider myself a very smart sports fan, right? Let me think about this. Is it shallow of me to just be like, oh, Chiefs only win because of the refs? I'm like, yeah, it is.
Like,
let's move on with the refs thing.
Brady got a couple of calls.
Oh, my God, yeah.
All the big dynasties, if we went back in time, I'm sure they all got calls.
But it gets magnified because they're already so good, and maybe they've also mastered the art of drawing fouls. Who knows?
And again, how about Josh Allen gets a half more yards so that it's not even close? I mean, come on. Yeah. Like, when you put it in the hands of the referees, things might, because it's not perfect. It's a very imperfect system, and they got to fix that. That's a huge conversation. That's probably a full episode.
Right. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but last thing, nobody wants to talk about in that Bills-Chiefs game. Everybody wants to talk about, you know, the first down call and the call with Xavier Worthy and the end of the game when Josh Allen, you know, the pass breakup with Dalton Kincaid.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk about that last drive that the Chiefs were just absolutely like manipulating the Bills on offense. They just did whatever they want, got the first down, and that was it. I mean, the Bills were just freaking screwed on that last drive of the Chiefs.
Scored 32 points, first time over 30 points all year long in the biggest game. Yeah. Okay, JM. Back to the Eagles here, to the Birds. In my opinion, if they're going to win this football game, Barkley has to touch the ball 25 plus times. He needs, I wrote this down, my stat line for him, over 150 total yards and at least 2 touchdowns. If they're going to win this football game, that's what needs to happen. He is the most important player on this offense. He's the biggest difference, obviously, in the game from 2 years ago. And this is a better Eagles team than we saw 2 years ago. Now, the quarterback is less than. He's at least playing less than heading into the game. But Barkley is the biggest X factor for them, obviously. But how about this? 8 straight playoff wins for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not one 100-yard rusher in those 8 games. Is Barkley the guy to break it? No.
He is not the
guy. Wow, he's not going to do it.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to get 100 yards. I'm going to give some betting advice right now, okay?
Under on Barkley.
Right now, Jalen Hurts is at plus 710 to throw for 300-plus passing yards. I am gladly going to take that bet.
Wow.
Okay? I think that what the Philadelphia Eagles are going to try to do is they know that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to try to stop the run, and they're going to stack the box and do whatever they want, and Spags is going to have that game plan ready, okay, especially with 2 weeks to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the Eagles want to run the football, they're not going to do it by establishing the run game early. No, they're going to do the opposite. The only way that they're going to be able to efficiently run the football is to come out of the gates throwing the ball and allowing that to open up the run game, because you know that Spags is going to have all these blitz packages and stacking up the box, stopping the run, having them, you know, just play their run gaps and sending extra guys and getting into cover 1, cover 0. Jalen Hurts needs to take advantage of that, get the ball out quick, get it to his playmakers. A.J. Brown, who's a tough tackle. Devonta Smith, who's an excellent route runner. Even get it to Barkley out of the backfield. Dallas Goedert's in play here. Like, they are going to have to be able to pass the ball early and then need the Chiefs to start playing and respecting the pass, and then you open up the run game for Saquon.
Well, if they don't, like, let's say that's their game plan, right? And they don't start to pass the ball, like it's a struggle for Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a long game.
Come on, like let's think about this, okay? The Kansas City Chiefs are a dynasty. They are a team that plays. Everybody wants to talk about Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, you could argue that the shining light of this dynasty has been that defense
For 2 years. Yes,
literally, it's been
the last 2 years.
It's been incredible. You think that stat you just read, 8 straight playoff wins, not a single 100-yard rusher. You really think that the Eagles are going to be able to play Eagle-style football and run all over the field? There is no way they're going to be able to do that. They're going to have to win in a different way, at least in the beginning. Like I said, open it up for later in the game.
The one thing I'll say is, like, this is one of the best offensive lines in the league. They're unbelievable, right? I feel like Chris Jones, you mentioned him before, the best player probably on the field defensively. Like, is he not the most important player outside of Mahomes for the Chiefs this week?
Yeah, and the most important player for the Eagles might be Cam Jurgens.
Yeah. Did you see this quote from, I think it was Dickerson? Wait till you see this quote. Hold on. How about this? I have so much respect for them. I wish I could like the Eagles.
Yeah.
Tell you why. Look at this quote. Landon Dickerson, on what threshold would be for him not to finish the game on Sunday? Probably getting carted off on a stretcher.
Mm-hmm.
That
football guy.
That's a football guy. That is, hey, we'll go run through a wall for you, do whatever you need to do here. I mean, if that doesn't get the locker room motivated, I don't know what's going to.
But that's like my point. You're talking about their offensive line. It's so good.
They're beat up.
The Chiefs know that. Like, the Chiefs understand how good that offensive line is. That's why they're going to need. There's a reason why the Eagles' running game is elite. They have an elite running back and an elite offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to do everything in their power, the Chiefs, to stop that run. The pass game should be almost wide open to start the game. And then the Chiefs are going to have to adjust, and the Eagles will have to adjust.
The Eagles are going to have to adjust. Control the clocks. That's going to be key. Again, if they can open up the pass game, then run the ball with Barkley, they're going to control that clock. Their defense is also loaded. They're not going to obviously make every stop, but keep them within a few points there.
It's almost like when you're playing the Chiefs and you're playing any sort of experienced playoff team, you need to have multiple game plans in the same game. I mean, how many times do you see these teams, think about to the Patriots 28-3 comeback and thinking back to the Chiefs last year down at halftime against the 49ers, where they adjust and you don't, and you just get caught losing.
It's funny, like, and I look at certain, like, matchups here, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, but, like, I look at the wide receivers for the Chiefs, right? And it's not a strong part of their team, right? That's a weak part. And you look at the Eagles. Their secondary is one of the best in the league, at least this season. They've been playing like one of the best secondaries in the league. It doesn't really matter because you know that Andy Reid and that coaching staff is going to be ready to go and have something up his sleeve where you're not even going to think about it mid-game. You're going to say, wait, this is the weakest part of their team.
Right. They're
just going to be so ready to go. And listen, you can't forget about, they have a couple of backs they use. You cannot forget about the run game either. And the Chiefs, especially against the Bills, try to establish the run in that football game. And I mean, I think they did a good job. The amount of times I was sitting there saying, stop running the ball up the middle with Kareem Hunt. I'm like, enough of this. Finally broke off a couple. So they're going to want to establish the run as well.
They're going to, and they're going to want to beat you in a bunch of different ways. They're going to want to get Mahomes moving on his feet. I mean, we all know the way the Chiefs are going to try to win this game, right? We've seen them do it time and time again. Travis Kelce, I'm really interested in to see what kind of game he's going to have and if it's going to matter. Like, if you told me that Travis Kelce has 15 receiving yards and they win the Super Bowl, my jaw is not on the floor. And if you tell me he has 150 receiving yards and they win the Super Bowl, my jaw is not on the floor. Like, they're just...
See, I think they need him. I think the Eagles, it's different with this team. I mean, they're so loaded everywhere. Yeah. Like, not everything is going to work here for Kansas City.
I like the under. I'll just say that right now.
You like the under.
I like
That's a sharp play.
I like the under.
The under is was it 49 or 49.5?
49. I don't know. I actually don't know.
It's a really sharp play.
The last time they met, I mean, the over smashed
73.
Yeah, 73 total points. So
see, like, I understand that. I could get, like, it's the sharp play. Like our friend Billy he was like, I like the under in the game. I was like, I just don't want to like. I
I don't
really want
want
to
it to be
sit
under.
there. And I like betting unders. I do. I really enjoy betting unders sometimes, but not in the Super Bowl.
But Mike, do we bet with our head or do
No.
we bet with our hearts? We bet with our head.
Sometimes we bet with our hearts, and sometimes we debate with our hearts too. You'll see
Yeah.
that coming up in a little bit.
Great.
I don't know. It's a sharp play though. Any concerns about Hurts coming in? I think I've asked this every week. I mean,
Yeah.
we're good with Hurts, or
We're
like
not good with Hurts.
You're
Absolutely
worried.
not.
You're worried.
Jalen Hurts, I've seen all the stats, quarterbacks with 6+ touchdowns and 0 turnovers heading into the Super Bowl. It's only been done 7 times, and 5 out of 6 of them have won the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is the 7th.
Is Eli one of those guys?
Eli was not one of those
Okay.
guys. No, stop. Please stop.
Sorry.
The only guy who didn't do it was Matt Ryan, who lost to the Patriots in that comeback.
Anniversaries today.
How can we say, from watching Jalen Hurts these past 3 games, right, that, you know what, we're really confident. Yeah, JM, he's played well. Show me the opponents. Okay, show me the defenses he went up against. Show me the times when he was putting pressure and needed to throw the ball. Even in the freaking Rams game, which was the only close game that they've played, down the stretch when they needed him to throw the ball, they didn't. And yeah, it was snow. I understand that. But he hasn't been tested to use that arm in the playoffs. He hasn't been tested to use that arm since before his injury against the Commanders in the regular season. So, yeah, I'm if Jalen Hurts plays a good game, I will not be surprised. He played great in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, but I need to see it. I can't say confidently that I think he'll play very well.
And Spag's going to have some tricks up his sleeve. We mentioned that before. And when Hurts has been pressured this year, I'm going to pull up the stat right now. He is not good. He has not been good when being pressured. So
I mean, the thing with blitzing Jalen Hurts is obviously he's a good quarterback on his feet, and he's a bigger quarterback, so I don't know if you could trust a corner to just take him down. But the pressure in general is all you need. You don't necessarily need sacks. You just got to make him get a little nervous on his feet and get rid of the ball quick, and then maybe turnovers will follow. Jalen Hurts was very good in 2022 when they went to the Super Bowl the first time at limiting turnovers and limiting interceptions. He's had a bit of an interception problem since then.
Mm-hmm. No, he has, especially early. He did a good job, like you mentioned, later in the year limiting them. But early, we were like, this is Jalen Hurts.
But we haven't seen – he's made some good throws, a couple in the playoffs. He threw a really nice over-the-shoulder, dumped it right in the basket to A.J. Brown, I believe in the championship game against the Commanders on like a 3rd down, 4th down, whatever that was. But we haven't seen Jalen Hurts have to make, tight window, high-leverage throws, time and time again yet.
There were also a lot of situations earlier in the middle of the season where we're like, he's not throwing the ball downfield. He was very conservative with the football because he didn't want to make the big mistake.
So is he going to have the confidence to push it down the field? Because like I said, there is no chance that the Kansas City Chiefs come out on defense and aren't just playing the run. Impossible. They're sending fire immediately.
But again, even though their offensive line's banged up, they're good enough to say, we both know what we're doing, and we're going to push you down the field, and we're going to run the ball.
At a certain point, though,
it's not going to work all game.
You can't block 8 guys. I mean, unless they run 13 personnel all day. But
he's that good. Barkley's that good. I don't know.
He is. No, he is. He's fantastic, and that offensive line is fantastic. But the Chiefs have some really good defensive players. Nick Bolton is a hell of a linebacker. Chris Jones is a hell of a defensive lineman. Karlaftis, is going to hold that edge strong. And they're not going to play, they're not going to send 7-man blitzes time and time again. They're going to fit their gaps. They're going to fit their run gaps, and they are going to load the box.
Bolton's a very underrated player for them. You've mentioned him a couple of times today. He's a very underrated player. Mm-hmm. The Eagles are 5-0 on artificial turf this year, allowing an NFL low 11.6 points per game. A full touchdown, better than the second-best team. That's thanks to Warren Sharp on Twitter.
So we're just bringing out those stats.
No, that's a good stat. That's a good.
You know what's a really interesting stat?
Let's hear it.
I did not write this down, so let me just try to remember.
Yeah, please. I'll try and confirm.
Since 2003, there have been 10 matchups in the Super Bowl where there's one team that had a first-round bye and the other team did not have a first-round bye.
Okay.
The team that did not have a first-round bye is 10-0 against the spread. And the team that did not have a first round bye. I believe is 9-1, 8-2. No, I'll forget that second part. But I know that straight up, it's not good either for the team that did have the bye.
But against the spread, it's undefeated.
The team that had a first round bye is 0-10 against the spread.
So last year, the Niners had the first round bye. The Chiefs didn't. So there's one. Yep. They both had it in 22. So that doesn't matter there.
Right. This year, the Chiefs had it. The Eagles didn't. So
how about the
trends say, but the Chiefs are trend breakers. But the trends say that the Eagles should cover.
Did you see the team traveling west and the team traveling east? I think the team traveling west is like undefeated in the last 10 years, something like that. That's and insane. The team traveling, you got to check me on that. It's something crazy like where they're traveling. I knew the Eagles were in favor here though.
Jetstream, something about that.
And the white jersey.
The white jersey, right?
The white jersey, big one.
Yep,
the Eagles are wearing green and the Chiefs are in white.
The Chiefs were in white last year, no?
No, the Chiefs were in red last year.
Chiefs were in red. Chiefs can wear whatever the hell they want at this point.
How about this? Peter Schrager, 2019 Chiefs. 2020 Bucks, 2021 Rams, and then the last 3 years now, including this one, he picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. He's going for 6 straight here.
That's actually nuts.
Super Bowl
Is that preseason?
Preseason.
That's crazy. Even with the Chiefs,
it's crazy
winning so many times, it's still nuts. Why do I need to get 7 Twitter notifications that Ben Gamble signed a minor league deal with the Astros?
We lost Ben Gamble.
He was a Met.
Yeah, he was a good Met.
He's a little slut, Ben Gamble.
Yeah, he is.
Been around the block.
Damn it, we lost Ben. Oh, it's bad.
Yankees. That's a good immaculate grid guy. Yankees, Mets, Brewers, Mariners. I think Pirates.
The fact that you know how many, definitely Pirates.
I'm very in swing with the Ben Gamble lore.
Okay, well he was definitely a Met. He was a productive one. Him and Travis Jankowski. 8 straight playoff wins, no 100-yard rusher. I'm reading that over again. That is absolutely crazy. The Chiefs' offensive line, let's talk about that for a second. They're banged up. They're not great at the tackle position. They moved Joe Thuney over to left tackle last week.
Another notification, sorry.
Oh, is it Pete Alonso or is it Gamble?
No, it's another bit. Correction, Ben Gamble's deal with the Astros is a major league deal.
Good. It's big.
Go ahead, Mike.
I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the offensive line.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Because your strength for the Eagles is in the middle. So do you move Thuney back to left guard, or do you keep him on the left on the end?
You stick with what you got. You stick with what's been working for you. I think at that point, that's a little bit of micromanaging. I understand the thought process there with Davis and Carter, but I think Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey can hold their own, just the two of them alone. And Joe Thuney has been excellent playing the most important position on the offensive line. And the Chiefs, the Eagles, even though, sure, we'll say maybe the D tackle and some other spots are the real strength of their defense, they still got good edge rushers too.
The Chiefs' offensive line has been the reason why they've lost in the Super Bowl and the reason why they lost in the AFC Championship game. Yeah. It's been the offensive
reason why a lot of teams lose.
Yeah, but, I mean, you would think it wouldn't be because for the Chiefs, but it is. Especially that the Brady Bucks one. You got another one?
It's 9 now.
How many baseball notifications?
MLB trade rumors. Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Passan, MLB trade rumors.
Jeff Passan tweeted for Ben Gamble?
Yes.
Are we serious?
Yes.
Holy crap.
By the way, football podcast, if we recorded on Monday, we would have had like a little 5-minute Luke and Doncic set, because I mean that deserves to cross over sports lines.
We should do a Are there any crazy NFL trades like in comparison? I know that was a big topic all week.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Not in our lifetime, or not in my fandom time. I can remember? I mean,
what's the trade for the back? Was it Ricky Williams? Those picks? Yeah, maybe that.
Yeah, that was like nuts. Herschel Walker. Randy Moss was a crazy trade going to New England from the Raiders. No, though. I mean,
nothing like
even
that.
The quarterbacks, like Watson was expected. Watson, Wilson, Rodgers, like Stafford, all these guys were talked about as rumored to getting traded.
Hill wasn't talked about until he was traded.
Hill was like the day of.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, boom. Right. That was a surprise.
You're like, oh, they're trading Hill. But it wasn't a shocker because he needed a new contract.
Right.
So we didn't know his future.
And basketball's different. I mean, Tyreek Hill wasn't the face of the Kansas City Chiefs. Luka Doncic is the face of the Dallas Mavericks.
It's all over my TikTok. It was all over my Twitter, obviously, like it was everybody else's on Sunday. I truly feel bad for those fans. I mean, 100%. I feel awful for those Maverick fans.
There's a little piece of me. Like, I love Luka. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA, and I'm a LeBron guy, so I'm excited about that. But that little part of me is like, you know what would be really funny? If this trade works out for the Mavs.
I almost...
The documentary would be cool.
See, I hope for their fans it does, but I don't hope for the... And I don't... You know what? I'm at the point where I don't even think it was the GM. I actually think it came from up top.
Oh,
I think it came from ownership.
Theory?
Yeah, I think it came from ownership. There's no way this guy, Nico Harrison, who's an F up, by the way, screwed up the Steph Curry deal. Yeah. I found out about on Sunday with Nike. There's no way this guy got in his head we have to trade him. There's no way in hell. I don't care. It's not his money. It was somebody else's money. The
part about it all is the press conference, and he's with Jason Kidd, and he's like, yeah, you know, we decided on this deal, and Jason supports me, and he's just like this 1,000-yard stare of like, I want to jump off a cliff right now.
You know the AI things where you're able to make it like, oh, Jason Kidd's punching the crap out of him. Honestly, like it didn't look that far off.
Right. I thought he might lunge at some point.
But he can't blame ownership. He can't sit there and blame ownership. If it was ownership, he can't sit there and do it. He has to take the shots. And that sucks. That sucks.
Mike, the producers upstairs are telling me we got to chill with the basketball talk.
Enough. The most basketball talk ever for us. I was all over that. That was crazy.
Yeah. Nuts.
We'll be the 10 billionth people to tell you when we got the notification, we thought it was fake.
Right.
We literally thought it was
for a
fake.
good 10 minutes.
Until Sham said, no, it's real.
Right. Bobby Marks was the guy. Even after that, I still thought it was fake.
Really?
Because I was like, what if the hacker's saying, yeah, this is real? But then I saw Bobby Marks tweeted it.
It was the style in which the tweet was sent. The second one was sent out.
Okay.
This is way too detailed and way too professional looking. Right. A hacker could obviously do that. But
even when he tweeted the trade, I was like, shouldn't this have had like some red alarm emojis or something around?
Nah, that's only Ian Rappaport. He does that.
Yeah,
Rappaport does that.
I like that. But I don't like when Ian Rappaport tweets the freaking eye emoji and it's like some BS thing on NFL.
How about this? Back to football. First of all, I don't need Ian. I know Rappaport's trying to sell himself. That's great. Every time they do an Insiders clip, okay, he has that show, The Insiders, with I guess Garofalo and Pelissero, whoever it is. He retweets every clip from it.
Yeah.
And also, I know there are some crazy people out there that are like truly diehard football fans and know exactly who these people are. But for the love of Christ, I don't need to know who the Jets' assistant special teams coach is.
Yeah.
So stop tweeting it like it's news.
Hiring a
Please.
defensive line coach.
I don't need to know that.
Mike.
I don't, right away.
This is a really weird coincidence. And again, not a basketball podcast.
Oh, God, what happened?
1 minute ago, in all caps, Shams tweeted, breaking. The Miami Heat are finalizing a deal to send Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, and like a pick or something
Look at that. And passing with the retweet there.
Damn, they got a retirement home going on in Golden State.
Ed Schefter with the retweet. How about this? You're going to be shocked I know this. This was obvious because Golden State was so desperate for a star. And they had said, no, we're not doing the deal because he won't sign an extension with us. When they got the no from Durant, I was they're going back to Butler. They're not going to care that he's not going to sign the extension.
Well, you know what? Never mind. We're actually okay with that.
What?
No, I'm saying that's probably what they said. You know what, Jimmy? Never mind. We'll good.
Take
you
it.
Don't need to. Yeah. Kevin doesn't want to come back.
Enough basketball now. We're done with basketball. But if Alonzo signs while we're doing this, we will break down Alonzo. Okay. Where the hell were we? Where the hell did I want to go?
We were doing the matchups to watch.
Let's go to the matchups to watch. Right here.
Wait. Okay.
No, that was. We'll go to that, and then we'll go to. I want to do this, and then we'll do Legacies after that.
Okay.
Is somebody beeping at us?
I think so. There's a lot of action going on outside.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's people walking around. There's people beeping at other people at this light.
3 little hoodlums walked by.
Wow.
Rapscallions.
We mentioned before the Eagles D-line versus the Chiefs O-line. The Chiefs O-line has been a reason why they've lost. We really talked about that already, so we'll go to this. The Chiefs wide receivers against the Eagles secondary. Again, I think Andy Reid and Matt Nagy, who apparently will be a head coach one day, by the way, according to everybody around in football, he'll be a head coach one day. Again, I think they'll have something up their sleeve. They'll be fine. The job that they've done with Worthy over the course of the season, where early it looked like he was just this immature young wide receiver that they were probably going to get nothing out of. They've now gotten so he's probably their main target other than Kelsey. Offensively, he's been that good for them.
Yeah, he is. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins has been like
Nowhere.
every week less and less snap counts. Marquise Brown, it was nice to see him catch a couple balls last week, see that he's back. But yeah, Worthy's kind of become that guy. And when they initially drafted this guy, like that was a big story. We forget, but the Bills traded away that pick. Chiefs got Worthy, and we're like, how do you let the Chiefs get the fastest receiver of all time? How do we allow this to happen? Tyreek Hill 2.0, blah, 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 blah. Could still turn out to be that way. Obviously, this rookie year, he doesn't look like Tyreek Hill yet. But, yeah, he's become a trusted option for them. Other guys, even I make jokes about him all the time, but he's actually a pretty freaking good player for them, is Noah Gray. When Travis Kelce isn't doing well, Noah Gray just seems to catch passes.
It's unbelievable how much they use these tight ends. Yeah. Everybody.
And they do so many different – that's why, yeah, if we're playing, if we're just thinking as football fans, well – the Eagles have A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. The Chiefs have Xavier Worthy and Juju. Like, who else do they have? Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Obviously, the Eagles are going to win the receiver battle there, but it doesn't really matter. The Chiefs just find open receivers. They run a complex offensive scheme to get their guys open. Patrick Mahomes knows when he's got great chemistry with his receivers, knows when to throw it, and he extends plays, which, you can only cover for so long. So I'd be really interested to see if the Eagles go with a man approach because they know their corners and their secondary is better, or if they go for a zone.
They've defied odds so many times when things don't make sense, when they don't have the right matchups we think on paper before the game. It changes. Doesn't matter with them. Yeah. They flip it in their favor somehow, and I'm sure they'll do that again.
The Eagles' defensive line coach, whoever he is, if Ian Rappaport tweeted about it a couple years ago.
He probably did 16 times.
He needs to be in that meeting room every single day and be telling them, defensive ends, just contain the outside. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis can go to work and disrupt the interior of that offensive line, but you cannot, once that disruption happens, they cannot let Patrick Mahomes scramble to his outside and extend the plays. They don't even need to get that much of a rush. I'm sure Carter and Davis, especially Carter, are that destructive that they don't even need to get that, but they just need to stay home and keep Mahomes contained in that pocket.
But he can run, too. That's the problem. He'll extend the play and throw, but he can also run.
Well, they have athletic linebackers for that. You have Bond and Nakobe Dean that could play some sort of spy/coverage.
Is it not sickening that Bond is like an all-pro player with them?
Nuts.
Like, good for him, and I'm happy he'll be able to take care of his family in a big way after this year. But it's kind of like, what the F?
Right. How did this even happen? He's got one of the nicest bald heads I've ever seen.
He's got a good bald head.
It's shiny.
Yeah,
very shiny.
It's a good one.
And a nice goatee to match.
He probably shines it, especially before big, media events and games.
You give him some oil for that? You got some left over? This guy, Mike, you guys don't know this guy. This guy's got cases of baby oil. Call him Mike Diddy.
I got a nice fade. That's all I got. Real nice fade. Fresh today. Jose hooked me up big time.
How many years have you been going to that guy? He should name his barbershop after you.
I've been going since 2018.
Okay.
So right before senior year of high school, I was going away, and I was still shaving my head. Like, my dad would shave my head like he used to, and it was all uneven. It didn't look good. Like, uneven over here. It wasn't lined up. And we were going away, and Mom was like, just start going to a barber. And there was a guy right around the block from me. You went to it in, like, a really sketchy, small place. I just went to him for years.
Love at first sight.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great. So, yeah, 2018.
2018. And you were weekly, bi-weekly guy? What are you?
Bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks I go.
Okay, bi-weekly.
This was a little overdue, though. It was really long.
Yeah.
The Chiefs D-line versus Saquon Barkley. How about that? That's a good matchup. How about Chris Jones versus Saquon Barkley, the two most important non-quarterbacks on the football field?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Those are the two guys. Can Chris Jones and this Chiefs defensive line do anything to contain Barkley early or at any point throughout this game? If they do that, they're going to win this football game going away. You can alternate the spread at -7.5 if they're able to contain Barkley, like JM thinks he does, going under on his rush total of whatever it is, 100.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the no matter how good of a job they do, I don't think that they'll be able to cover a spread like that because the Chiefs just don't do that. Like, we've seen it time and time again. They do not blow teams out. So they didn't do it against Buffalo, and I don't think they're going to do it here. It's going to be a close game till the end. But, yeah, that is going to be a very interesting matchup, obviously. I mean, the Chiefs' defense, we love to talk about the Eagles, but the Chiefs is also very, very good. Maybe you don't know as many names on the Chiefs' defense, but it's been like that for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
So Eagles' offensive line is going to have their hands full, but the Chiefs' defensive line is also going to have their hands full because that's the best offensive line that they're going to play all year long.
Vic Fangio's 0-8 against Kansas City in his career.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Now, I mean, if you look at these matchups, he was with a lot of these crappy Denver teams.
Right.
And that really wasn't his fault. And I think if you look at the matchups, Mahomes actually hasn't played, like, amazing against Fangio, but he's obviously won every game. That has no effect on me whatsoever in this. I keep seeing that stat, like, oh, Mahomes is 8-0 against them. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care.
So that's like, what is it? Immovable force meets unstoppable object. Like,
something's got to give.
Or unstoppable force meets.
No.
Sorry, unstoppable force meets immovable object. Yeah, that's it. What I was talking about before. Eagles are like 10-0 against the spread, and this is basically, what's the spread right now? 2.5, 1.5. So it's basically pick 'em. Oh, 10-0 team that doesn't have the first round bye is against the spread.
Here we go.
And then you got Chiefs 8-0 against Vic Fangio. Something's got to move. Okay, something's got to happen here.
Something's going.
Throw all the trends in the garbage can and just pick what you think's gonna happen.
I'm pumped. Let's go.
Are you pumped? I'm pumped I am pumped because it's football, right? We get to see who wins a championship. There's a lot of things on the line here. Is it the two teams that I wanted to be in it? Not exactly, but it's still a fascinating football game.
I think it's the best matchup you could have possibly had.
I think Chiefs-Lions would have been sick.
I don't think so. I really think the Eagles would beat the Lions.
I think they would have. I think that we figured out how that Lions team that defense could not hold up because of all the injuries. But a healthy Lions team against a healthy Chiefs team would have been great.
I think for the first, I don't really know. No, because last season I think you got the same thing. You got the two best teams in the sport.
Yeah,
you got the two best teams in the sport. You have a dynasty. Again, I'm not looking forward to the long commercials, and I'm not looking forward to the halftime. But I'm really not looking forward to halftime. I don't give a rat's ass. I've become an old man with that. I don't care.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I'll watch it. And I know I said I won't watch it. I will watch it because we might have to talk about it. Like something crazy might happen where we might have to talk about
listen,
it.
You know I get on you with the old man Jenkins takes, but this one is not one that I'm going to give you crap for because I agree.
I can't stand it. I really can. It's just enough. Like, play the football game. Exactly. It's a football game. Play it.
And I was thinking about this. I was like, I don't know if it's fair. But a part of me sort of wishes that this game was like in Kansas City. Wouldn't it be just really cool if you could watch the championship game at the better team's home stadium?
Well, I think I don't
know if it's fair, but
it's probably not fair. The one thing I'll tell you, and we talked about it last week, was like you don't have real fans in the stadium because all the real fans are priced out. Now, unless you got Boku cash, okay, but you know, most of the time this is going to be a lot of corporate people that won tickets, but they might not be big fans. They're going to be in the building, and that sucks because you don't have the real diehard fan of either team. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
You'll hear cheering, but it'll be people that are like, that's why I put money on the Eagles.
Like that's the one thing like about baseball and hockey and basketball. Like if your team's in the championship, like you're at least going to see them twice. Yeah, you know, and that's sick.
You miss out on, you know, you think about some iconic moments in sports like that in playoff games and in championship games, and you think about the moment when they get hyped and the crowd's hyped and they're playing along with the crowd. That doesn't happen in the Super Bowl. The players themselves get hyped, right? And they'll celebrate and be through the roof in happiness with whatever moment or win happens. But there's no interaction with the fans until they, get back from the plane. They're waiting at the airport, and then the parade, and this and that.
And think about the only 2 times we had home field advantage for the team, like the first 2 times ever. It happens back-to-back years. It happens with Tampa during the COVID year, and it was like 50% filled.
Yeah.
And then you had, and they're not really the greatest, loudest fans.
Right.
And then you had the Rams, who don't have great fans.
Yeah, throwing digs at the Bucs fans.
They don't fill that stadium. Come on.
Yeah.
It's lackluster.
Better than the Rams.
Better than the Rams.
That's for sure.
Definitely on the back end of the top half.
Sure.
Of fans.
Sure.
Like, I want to see, and I'll give you this. You've never had this, and we've only had this once. I want to see MetLife Stadium full of crazy Jeff fans, even for a playoff game, for crying out loud. How about that? Yeah. Not even a Super Bowl where they're representing their team. In the Super Bowl. I just want to see them like that. Like, give me a good fan base. A fan base that's been tortured.
Yeah, well, Jets fans definitely have.
There you go. I'm trying to give you something. All right, let's talk about legacies here. Let me start with this, because this is crazy. And you made fun of me because I misspelled dynasty. But I'm going to tell you this. If the Eagles win this Super Bowl, what's stopping them from going on? Not a three-peat or like a big run, but a little mini dynasty here where you're like, oh, crap, this is – NFC's wide open. Wide open. They're going to win the division. Well, actually, I don't know. They got Jaden Daniels. But other than Jaden Daniels, there's really nobody else that scares me. They could run the NFC for years.
No, they won't.
You don't think so?
Can't. No.
Why not? Because of Daniels?
Because of Daniels, because of the Lions, because of the Packers.
Their roster
the 49ers are going to be back because of a bunch of different teams.
Their roster's loaded. Their roster's
loaded. So the 49ers have been loaded. They haven't ran the NFC. They went to 2 Super Bowls and haven't won one.
Well, I mean, the Eagles are in 2 Super Bowls in 3 years.
You think about teams that have run their conferences in recent history, and it's only been the Patriots and the Chiefs, and maybe actually I shouldn't even say it because they only went to 1 Super Bowl. But the Packers were just always a high seed and a team.
No, they didn't run it.
They don't count. It's the Patriots and the Chiefs, right? Quarterback head coach pairing, and not only quarterback head coach pairing, elite best quarterback in the NFL. The Eagles do not have that. You cannot sustain success like that with a quarterback who's not a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. It's just not going to happen.
Okay. That's the only pushback I would have, is that they don't have the top 5 quarterback.
No.
That's the only pushback. But you look at the roster, you look at the way Howie Roseman runs the team.
Yeah, but
the team's going to be loaded.
Roster only gets you so far. Like, what happens? What did we witness 2 years ago? Eagles had this amazing roster. They go to the Super Bowl. They lose. Jalen Hurts signs an extension. Didn't really lose many key pieces in the offseason. You think they're going to be right back, right?
They're banged up.
They're banged up, sure. They collapsed late in the season.
Yeah.
But a big part of it was all these coaching questions. Steichen left and Gannon left. Now this offseason, Kellen Moore is going to be wearing a Saints hat in a week.
He is.
So who knows what could happen with that? Maybe their offense derails a little bit with the different coordinator, having their 4th different offensive coordinator in 4 years.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen year to year. I can't say that they're going to run the NFC.
Okay. You're pushing back on that.
They didn't even run the NFC this year in the regular season. Like, it's not like they were the team that,
no, but if we're talking
their way
about
through the playoffs because they were by far the best team. Like,
but if
they weren't even the 1 seed.
If we're talking about a team in the NFC, the last 3 years, it's them. They were in the postseason last year and in the Super Bowl 2 out of 3. Like, of the last 3 years, if we're picking a team of the NFC, it's the Eagles.
Year, I don't know, maybe.
It's the Eagles.
All right, last 4 years, I'd still go with the Niners. How about that?
Were the Niners in the Super Bowl 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
No, but they were still great.
Okay.
They lost to the Rams.
Right, in the NFC Championship game. Yeah, with Jimmy Garoppolo, 9-7, please.
The Eagles they basically missed the playoffs last year. They limped in and they got their ass kicked by the Bucs.
They went to the playoffs. Why am I defending the Eagles? Why are you putting me in the position to defend the Eagles?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
I didn't ask for you to do this.
JM, I've been struggling with this question all day. Where does Andy Reid rank right now among coaches of all time? And then if he wins his 3rd straight, his 4th with the Chiefs, where does this put him in terms of all-time head coaches? Right now, I believe he's within the top 10, but he's closer to 10 than he is to 5.
No.
You think he's
I think he's in the top 5
right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got 3 Super Bowls wins. You got what? 5 Super Bowl appearances.
You have 5
1
Super Bowl
with Philly,
appearances.
4 with Kansas City.
5 with Philly.
1 with Philly, 4 with Kansas City. 4 with McNabb. And then
Well, this is his 5th with Kansas City. Because he's won
is
4,
right, so 6
lost
Super Bowl
6 Super Bowl appearances.
And a possible 4th win coming up.
He's already the 4th winningest head coach of all time. He's got 301 wins. And he's coming back next year.
The thing with him, he's just, wherever he's gone, even those Kansas City teams earlier in his tenure with Alex Smith, they had no right being in competitive playoff games, but with Alex Smith.
Right.
Who wasn't a bad quarterback. I don't want to throw him under the bus. He was like Alex Smith was like the definition of like slightly above average quarterback.
Yeah.
Alex Smith is what everybody thinks Brock Purdy is.
Okay.
Okay, that's what Alex Smith was.
That's a nice compliment.
Somehow wherever he's gone, he's at least kept them competitive. He's been fantastic. Obviously, if we're throwing out the best coaches of all time, right? Let's name some of the names out there. Belichick's there. Don Shula. Right?
Tom Landry.
Is Jimmy Johnson in the conversation there? He's not better than Andy Reid.
No. George
Lombardi, but that, now we're talking about you're comparing across 60 years.
Yeah.
It's tough to compare that. George Hollis is there. Yeah.
He's the 3rd winningest coach of all time.
So I'd still give that I know Mount Rushmore has 4 faces on it, but the Mount Rushmore with 3 faces would be Belichick, Shula, and Landry. I think those guys are kind of still in a little class of their own, but
Reid's the 4th guy.
If Reid wins this Super Bowl, I think, yeah, he's right there. He's the 4th guy.
It's funny. People crap on him for his tenure in Philadelphia. Like, he was really good in Philadelphia. I think he went to 3 straight conference championships. He was in the Super Bowl. Yes, he lost it. But, like, at some point, he's the head coach of the team, sure, but at some point it's on the players, too. It wasn't just Andy Reid. And he was basically blamed for what happened there.
Yeah.
And a lot happened, and it was Philadelphia. A lot of noise. There's a lot of noise there. They had Vic. They had McNabb all those years. Like, I don't know. Like, he was so successful there without a championship. Now he's here, and he's rewarded, rightfully so, with all of these championships and gets a ton of credit for the Super Bowls that they've won. So, yeah, I think he wins this one. He solidifies himself, no doubt, in the top 5. And we're talking about him soon getting to a point where we're saying, oh, is he better than Belichick? I think he wins 2 more. We're really going to start considering that. 1 more, he's definitely top 5.
All right, let me think before I say something crazy.
Don't think. Just say.
I'm going to put him at least 3 right now.
Wow, he's 3 right now.
Okay, because the only thing that Tom Landry has over Andy Reid, he doesn't have more Super Bowls. He doesn't have more championships, right? He's got years. He's got experience. He's got years. Andy Reid has coached almost the same amount of time. He's a couple years behind that Tom Landry coached. He's got 3 losing seasons in 26 years of coaching. Okay, and you talk about whatever rosters he inherited, whatever. I don't care. You can inherit the freaking greatest team of all time. If you can sustain success like that across 2 different organizations for 20-plus years, you're doing something right. So that combined with the 6 Super Bowl appearances and 3 Super Bowl championships pending a 4th, yeah, he deserves to be right behind Bill Belichick.
There you go. You're a big Andy Reid fan.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a big Andy
Big
Reid
Red.
fan. I mean, I do like Andy Reid.
Big Red. I like Big Red.
But I mean, I don't think there's much to dislike about the guy. He's a very just low, whatever, shy, I guess, sort of guy. Like, he doesn't speak many words, Andy Reid, but he's a nice dude and he likes cheeseburgers.
I'd have a beer and a cheeseburger.
Yeah,
with
right.
him. I'd pay a lot of money for that.
So the stats don't lie for Andy. That's a hell of a resume.
Mahomes wins this one. That's his 4th. He does something no quarterback's ever done. Nobody that has played football has ever done. Is he, in your mind, he wins? Where is he right now in your mind in terms of quarterback ranking? He's 2 for me. He's
all time?
2nd greatest quarterback of all time right now for me.
I don't know. It depends what kind of criteria.
So he's not 2. What you're saying, he's not right behind Brady?
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. If he wins this one, he's not. I know like where this is going. He's not the GOAT yet. People need to stop with that.
No.
Okay, he's not the GOAT if he wins this Super Bowl. He's a freaking hell of a football player, and he has a crazy. He could retire tomorrow, and he can retire right now before the Super Bowl, and he's a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Well, how about this? Who do I consider as 2? Because Rodgers is the most talented. We've said this a million times. He's the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. He's the best quarterback I personally think I've ever seen. But if I was making a best quarterbacks of all time, legacy, resumes, all that stuff, I wouldn't put Aaron Rodgers second. So, yeah, I think I would put, because of all the Super Bowl wins and all that stuff, I would put Patrick Mahomes second because he has the talent combined with it. He has the MVP awards, and he's an amazing quarterback.
So I think he's 2 right now, and I think he's 2 if he wins.
Yeah.
Nothing's moving for me.
He moves closer
He
to Brady.
obviously moves closer. The 3-peat definitely means something.
Yeah.
But when he lost to Brady, right, in the Super Bowl, I think a lot of us thought, oh, he's never going to catch Brady. Like, that's it. Like, he had to win that one, right, to even have a chance at catching Brady. He wins 3 straight. He's right there. I mean, he's
100%.
right there, and he probably catches him.
The thing with Brady that we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I think a lot of people, when they think about Tom Brady's resume, you think about that crazy win against the Seahawks, right? And then you think about the comeback against the Falcons. But the one that really was just like, oh, this guy's untouchable was the Buccaneers one. He went to a completely different organization, right? You talked about the Belichick. Was Brady a product of Belichick, right? Mm-hmm. That was always in the back of your mind. And then he goes to Tampa Bay and takes Bruce Arians and those guys to a Super Bowl in his first year and wins it against Patrick Mahomes. That's gonna hold Tom Brady in that number 1 spot for a long time.
It's big. That's big.
Huge.
Beating him head to head is big. Mm-hmm. James, anything else on the Super Bowl before we have our little Eli Manning debate?
No,
and get
I'm
out
a little
of here?
Scared because I don't know how much time we have.
Yeah, we're not gonna go too long with the Eli debate. We're at 57 minutes here, so we're fine here. But prediction: I have the Chiefs. I'll give you a score. I'll say 28-24, 28-25. The Chiefs win.
I'm going to go with 23-20 Chiefs.
Okay. There we go. You really like that under. All right.
I hope it doesn't. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Eagles win, and I hope it's for the over. You know, they score 75 points total because nobody wants to watch a little snooze fest defensive battle.
I got a little future on the Chiefs, so I'm really rooting hard.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Go KC.
Yep.
Let's go. Yeah. All right, JM. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? Now, before we start this, let's just say this, okay? It's a lot of the debate is first ballot or not. And I've made this known to you, and this is kind of a switch about a year or 2 ago in my opinions on Hall of Fame. I love debating Hall of Fames, especially baseball. But my opinions on Hall of Fames now is I don't care if you're first ballot, second ballot, third ballot. I don't care. Because when I go and look and see, is this guy in the Hall of Fame, I don't sit there and go, oh, what ballot was he on? What was he voted on? I don't care. Yeah. Okay, if you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. And the same thing, like, for example, with baseball, with CeCe. Do I think CeCe is a first ballot Hall of Famer? No. But if I had a vote this year, I would have voted for CeCe because I think he's a Hall of Famer, period. I don't care. Right. So that's how I view this right now.
So I agree. I think I still apply the first ballot. Oh, this guy doesn't deserve to be first ballot. I wouldn't vote for him this year because that's the way it works. Mm-hmm. But I don't like the way it works. I agree. I think if you think the guy's a Hall of Famer, vote him in the Hall of Fame. If you don't,
like, it's not, my opinion shouldn't.
Why make the guy wait? Like, it's stupid.
My opinion should not change unless I have, which there are limits on how many people you could vote for. But a lot of times you're not using all of those votes. Right. So my opinion's not really going to change. It shouldn't change on a year-to-year basis of whether or not I think you're a Hall of Famer. Now, is there 2 to 5% where the voters are missing something and
and they change their mind,
and you change your mind? Yeah, a couple of times in history, sure, that should be the case. Yeah. But in most cases, you're the Hall of Famer or you're not.
All right, so good. That this argument is going to be just if he's a Hall of Famer or not. That's what we're getting for this because there's no more. Oh, I think he's not first ballot.
Yes, because this is what's going to get me in trouble with Giant fans. If we're basing this on is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? No, he's not because. And I've flipped on this because I was sent a list today of the first ballot quarterbacks ever in the Hall of Fame. Eli Manning is not those players, not even close. Right. He's not even close to a first ballot Hall of Famer based on what those players did in the regular season and of course post, but most of them regular season. Mm-hmm. And
right on the money.
I'll admit that. But is he a Hall of Famer? Yes, he should be in the Hall of Fame. All right, I've spoke a lot, so you go.
I have a document here. So let me just give everybody a quick little background. When we do every episode, right, Merlot writes out the episode. I read the topics. I write my little notes down underneath the topics. For this one specifically, I made a separate document, okay? It's called the Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer Manifesto, okay? Where do you want to start? Because let's establish our key points for why I think he's not a Hall of Famer and why you think he is. My criteria for a Hall of Famer, right, is an elite level player for years in the league that also the postseason success, especially for quarterbacks. I don't want to say it's the cherry on top because it's important, but I'm prioritizing how you were as a player overall first, and then I'll look at your championships and things like that. Okay?
Okay.
I'll just first point, okay? This one's pretty obvious. MVP votes. It's not like baseball where you get 25 guys appear in a top 25 MVP result. It's if you got a vote to be the MVP of the league, you got an MVP vote. So sometimes there's one guy that gets an MVP vote because he's unanimous, and some years there's 7 because 7 different guys get an MVP vote. Eli Manning had 0. Okay? Problem. I often say that Eli Manning is mid. His all-time record, the definition of mid, 117 and 117. Mike, his career passer rating, he's 66th all-time. And I understand comes with a little inflation, right, in football because passer ratings these days are a little higher than they were because quarterbacks get better, offenses get better, the rules get a little tighter,
I know
whatever
exactly
goes on.
what's coming.
Okay? Daniel Jones' career passer rating is 84.3. The guy that Giants fans just shipped out the door. Danny Dimes, ass, right? Eli Manning, 84.1. That's 2.2 points lower. Quarterbacks from his era, because we're just comparing eras there. Maybe that's a little unfair to Eli, right? Quarterbacks in his era with better passer ratings, Joe Flacco, David Garrard, Donovan McNabb, Jay Cutler, and Mark Bolger. I'm going to stop there because I don't want to go off on too much of a rant, and I got some other stats to throw out as some counterpoints, but why don't you go ahead here, bro?
So I totally see the issues with Eli Manning. The interceptions, the not having an MVP vote. He was never even second team All-Pro, right? I understand all of these issues, okay? But the things that Eli Manning has is this. Is what he has going for him. Okay, he's 11th all-time passing yards. Okay, so he's 11th all time.
You're rage baiting me already.
A lot of quarterbacks here. Everybody ahead of him, Hall of Famer. Okay, how about that? Passing.
Matt Ryan, a Hall of Famer.
Matt Ryan is 110% Hall of Famer.
All right.
We can have that discussion next year when he's up for it. 110 or 2 years, 100% Hall of Famer. Another one, passing touchdowns. Eli Manning is also 11th, 366 in 15 years. Eli Manning was Mr. Iron Man. That means something to me, at least. He played, and that should mean something to a lot of people. He played every game. Okay, he was never hurt.
It was great, guys.
The other thing, 37 game-winning drives, 27 fourth-quarter comebacks. That's not to include the 5 postseason game-winning drives this guy had. 4 fourth-quarter comebacks in the postseason. And I haven't even mentioned his record in the postseason, where he's 8-4. He has 2 Super Bowls, as we know. He has 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He has one of the greatest runs of all time in the postseason in 2011, where he was at his absolute best in his entire career in those 4 games. Probably no 4-game stretch better. Not even Patrick Mahomes last year, when he played 4 games, beat that mark of passing yards. Eli Manning, with the greatest win in football history, mixed with the stats that he has going for him, overtake the midness of his career, which I will admit there was a lot of. There's enough here to put him into the Hall of Fame, the Football Museum history. Eli is a football history, and he should be in the Hall of Fame.
So what I wrote down, okay, I said the only argument to Eli Manning being a Hall of Famer are the Super Bowls and accumulated stats.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said you immediately started rage baiting me, because I don't care where he ranks all time in passing yards and stats that he just piled up from playing for a long time. And sure, that is important as a quarterback to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. Good for him. So we're going to put him in the Hall of Fame because of durability and a stat that you read me where you have to click the other page on Pro Football Reference, right? You have to dig to get to the game-winning drives and all that stuff.
Well, we know this. We know that he was clutch in the fourth quarter and had a ton of comebacks in his career.
Why don't I throw this out at you, okay? Other playoff seasons for Eli Manning, okay? 2005, very young in his career, right? Yeah. 0-1, 10 for 18, 133 yards, no touchdowns, 3 picks, okay?
Yep. Young guy.
2006,
second year.
we got playoff experience now. 0-1, 16 for 27, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. A little better.
Mm-hmm.
A little better, right? Still lost the game, though. 2008, right? 0-1, 15 for 29, 169 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. So we've played 3 playoff games. We haven't thrown for more than 170 yards yet, right? And we also have 6 picks and 2 touchdowns. And then we're just going to skip through because this is the only other playoff season that weren't the Super Bowl years. Credit to him. 4-0, 4-0, 2007 and 2011.
Mm-hmm.
2016, late in his career, that year the Giants had with that great corner duo of well, I don't know why every time I think about the 2016 Giants, I think about DRC and Janoris Jenkins.
Yeah, beasts.
0-1, 23 for 44, 299 yards, touchdown and a pick. Mike, I don't want to get it confused here. I'm not discrediting the way the guy played in the playoffs. It was great. He went 4-0 twice, wild card to Super Bowl victory, beating the Patriots twice, right? Tom Brady's only had 3 Super Bowl losses in his career. 2 of them have been the Giants, and the other one was Nick Foles. Great stuff. I don't understand why that, like, I think Eli Manning should be statue in front of, not MetLife Stadium because they share the freaking stadium, but statue in front of every Giants building there is. He should be a Giants Hall of Famer. Nobody should ever wear the number 10 again. He is an incredible player in Giants history, and you guys should worship that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why he needs to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer, though, for just the literally 2 years of his career makes him a Hall of Famer. Well, I don't get that.
He has a couple of other seasons, obviously, in his career that were above average, where he probably was a top 5 guy in the league. So we're just going to throw a couple of those seasons out there.
I don't think he was ever top 5 in the league.
Well, in that season, that year, he had numbers, and I'm all over the place here on my Eli Manning pages, where he was top 5. I'll pull some up.
I don't know what years he was top 5. All I know is he never led the NFL in touchdown passes, but he led the NFL in interceptions 3 times. And he threw 30-plus touchdowns twice. 3 times. Sorry, 3 times.
Ben McAdoo season. That's a big season.
Yeah, right. Oh, my God, Ben McAdoo season. That's crazy.
That's the reason why I got hired as a Giant head coach.
25 interceptions the year after he won the Super Bowl. What the hell? And they went 10-6.
In 2012.
This guy's a defense merchant.
In 2012.
Yeah. No, 2012, he went 26-15. Sorry. Yeah, I got it confused. 2009, I was thinking about the Yankees. 2010, he threw 25 interceptions. 2013, he threw 27.
Because the year after they won the Super Bowl in 2007, and this is the year where you want to bash on Eli. I'm actually, and just the team in general, I'm okay with. You were one of the best teams in football. Yes, Plack shot himself, and that hurt the team heading into the postseason. But you had a home game against the Eagles, and I think they were the 1 or the 2 seed that year, and they were the favorites, and they lost that game. And they only scored 11 points in it, and he was you just read the stat. He was terrible. Yeah. All the other postseason games, he was young in his career, and then he had the one against the Packers when he was much older. Whatever, fine.
All I know,
that's the bad one.
This isn't like Eli Manning. We're not debating somebody that we didn't watch play. Like, we were very much involved in the Eli Manning career, right? Except what, 2005,
the early
2008, right?
The early seasons.
Not once do I remember. I remember Eli being mentioned as a better quarterback in the league, but like he was always viewed as like what Kirk Cousins has been viewed as the past 5-6 years. Nobody was ever discussing Eli Manning as a Joe Burrow, as a a Herbert, an Allen, a Lamar, a Mahomes.
By the way,
nobody was ever discussing that.
And I don't think, and I agree with you, and I don't think this guy's a Hall of Famer, but Cousins is going to come up in conversations at some point. And Cousins is not going to get in, but Eli will because of the longevity and the passing touchdowns and the 2 miraculous runs he made in the postseason.
Right, but like if I sat here on this show, and I know you've probably heard this point before, if I said Nick Foles is a Hall of Famer, you would think,
no,
what
of course not.
Living hell are you talking about right now? I could say that run he had with the Eagles was crazy, coming in the middle of the year and beating Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, right? It's basically what Eli Manning did,
but he did it twice. He did it. That's
right.
big.
Sure,
That's
he did it twice.
big.
But that makes him a Hall of Famer? Like, how do we make the jump from, like, career backup with, like, a Linsanity run with the Eagles to mid-player, 2 Super Bowl runs, Hall of Fame?
Because it's not, listen, his whole career, like, there were spots in his career where he wasn't mid.
You know what I think? I think he's overrated because of his freaking brother. I think that's a thing. I think because his name is Eli Manning, that he gets associated with his brother. He's got the same amount of Super Bowls as his brother. He does the freaking show with his brother and coaches the Pro Bowl, that he gets elevated to Peyton.
Well, the one thing, 100%, I think the name helps him and hurts him at the same time. It puts him in a different stratosphere that maybe we shouldn't be putting him in, right? Mm-hmm. But it also helps him because they're football royalty. The NFL loves them. They have them coach the Pro Bowl. They're doing alternate broadcasts. They're everywhere, right? They're almost like the Kelce's. They're everywhere. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it hurts him and helps him at the same time. I can't believe Peyton only won 2 Super Bowls. Again, we mentioned it last week. You put them together, you have probably the greatest football player of all time. One of them.
Well, listen, this is going to be put to bed because he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like 100%.
I think he's going to have
tomorrow. He will be in the Hall of Fame.
Jam. You know what? And I don't know if this is just me like being negative. He's my guy. He's my hero. I think he's going to have. I think there is a lot of pushback from a lot of people that vote for the Hall of Fame.
I'm telling you.
I think there's a lot of pushback. I don't know if I.
Maybe
I don't think it's a
you're
guarantee.
reading some stuff that I'm not reading, but
I have.
He's getting in the Hall of Fame. Everything trending is that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I got to go to Canton, right? I got to go for that.
I guess.
Got to go for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's the only championship you've seen so far.
My life.
So I would go to Canton.
If I'm considering going to the Hall of Fame for Beltron, if he goes in as a Met, I better
go
for Eli. I better go for Eli.
If we were still talking baseball, I would say that he should wear a black hat that says MLB on it when he gets inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Met. No, all right. So there we go. Eli, we'll see you tomorrow. This episode will be out. You watch in the morning, and then you'll know by the end of the night. And if you want to take a trip to Canton with me, I'm willing to go with some people. So reach out because we're gonna have a good time in Canton. Yeah. Apparently, it's great. I've never been. I was at the Baseball Hall of Fame last summer for the first time. It was unbelievable, and I've heard Canton is unbelievable as well.
Talk to my brother. He went.
He went to Canton.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta ask him. Has he been to the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yes, he has.
I want to hear the comparisons. Yep. All right, JM. That's going to do it. The last episode of the football season. We will be back next week to break down what happened in the game, and then we'll have some announcements. We have our Super Bowl box. We're going to put the numbers out. JM did a great job with that. We're going to put the numbers out on Sunday, correct? Yep. The full box. Yep. And the winners will be paid out soon after the game. And
when we paid out.
Oh, right. I mean, you get points. You
high fives.
You get your points, right?
We give you your points.
So you get 600 is
600
high
points.
Fives.
You move up the standings.
So what was I going to say? Announcements after the Super Bowl for sure, and we'll kind of give a breakdown of how the offseason is going to go as well, after the Super Bowl.
Big Johnny's game this weekend. Everybody lock in.
Here we go.
We're going to UConn.
Congrats to the Johnnies, by the way, on their win the other day.
Appreciate
it was a big win against Marquette. You going?
Appreciate that. I'm going to the UConn game at MSG in a couple weeks.
Okay, you're not taking a trip to UConn.
And I'm considering buying Creighton tickets for. Oh no, I'm not. Never mind. That's the day of the Daytona 500. Never mind.
Big one, Dex. Look at you. You're full blown into baseball season.
Oh,
you ride right into baseball season nice and easy.
Yeah, I don't give a crap.
Me, it's tough. It's tough sledding out here until baseball.
Well, we'll go to the Hofstra game tomorrow.
That's big. I don't know who they're playing. I think they're playing Campbell.
Huge.
They're Owen. I don't know who they're playing tomorrow.
No, I think it's somebody different.
Northeastern?
Yes.
Let's go. Big CAA
Rivalry
matchup
week.
tomorrow. Let's go. All right. We'll talk to you guys next week. Enjoy the Super Bowl.